Okay, let's jump right in. You're probably here because you want to get straight to the point. Yeah.
Mhm.
Understand the big stuff happening without wading through, well, everything.
Exactly. Think of this as the fast track.
Right. We want to give you that shortcut to understanding a shift that could honestly change things quite a bit.
And we're zeroing in on what's being called the billion digital product boom.
It sounds big.
It is. And it's not just jargon. It feels like a real change, potentially unlocking that trifecta people are chasing. Financial freedom, location freedom, and maybe the biggest one, time freedom.
That control over your own time.
Yeah, we're going to dig into what's actually driving this whole thing.
Okay. So our mission for this deep dive, pull out the absolute must-knows about this digital product wave. Why now? Why is 2025 feeling like such a key moment? So maybe ask yourself this. What if getting that freedom you want isn't about, I don't know, getting lucky? What if it's about spotting these big societal shifts, the ones happening right under our noses?
That's a good way to frame it. Let's start with the why. What's the human element behind this boom?
Okay.
Well, our sources keep coming back to three core desires. They seem to be fueling this whole online income thing. First, financial freedom. Obvious one, maybe. Being able to live without money dictating every choice.
Sure. Makes sense.
Second, location freedom. The ability to earn your living from basically anywhere. A coffee shop, another country, wherever.
Right. The digital nomad dream for some.
And third, time freedom. Getting off that hamster wheel of trading hours for dollars. Reclaiming your schedule.
That combination, financial, location, and time freedom, that really is the goal for so many people, isn't it?
It seems to be.
But it's tricky. Even in like high-paying jobs, you might get the money, sure, but you're often stuck in one place or your time just isn't your own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the sources suggest achieving all three. That real autonomy isn't just random chance. It's about seeing these inevitable shifts.
Inevitable, how so?
Well, maybe not predictable down to the day, but the signs are often there, sometimes months, even years ahead. You just have to know where to look.
Okay, so spotting the trends early, like the smart money does. Positioning before everyone else jumps in.
Precisely. And this billion digital product boom. The argument is that it's one of those shifts happening now, gaining speed.
Got it. So to really get why this is a boom, maybe we need to look back a bit. Why wasn't this happening, say, 5 or 10 years ago?
Good point. It helps to understand the before, because creating and selling digital stuff wasn't really feasible for most people until quite recently. The landscape was just different.
What were the roadblocks? Sounds like it was tough.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Our sources paint a picture of, well, pretty high walls. First off, you often needed to be a serious expert, like really deep knowledge.
Not just dabbling.
No. And then you'd spend months, maybe longer, just researching, creating the actual content. Plus, you needed skills, right? Writing persuasively, scripting engagingly, stuff not everyone has.
Okay, so expertise and serious content creation skills. What else?
Tech hurdles, big ones. Often, you needed your own custom-built platform just to host the product, deliver it, take payments. That costs money, serious money sometimes.
Right, not just a simple website.
Not at all. And on top of that, you usually needed a big audience already, followers, an email list, someone to actually sell it to initially. Without that, it was hard to get any traction.
Wow. Okay, so massive effort, specific skills, potentially big cost, and you needed an audience up front.
With zero guarantee anyone would actually buy it after all that work.
Yeah, sounds like a really high-risk game for most people.
Exactly, which brings us to why Digital Products 2.0 is such a different beast. It's not just that digital products exist, it's that how you make and sell them has fundamentally changed. That's the core of this revolution.
Okay, Digital Products 2.0. Let's break that down. What actually caused this shift? What are the big drivers making it accessible now?
Two main things, according to the sources. First, and maybe the most dramatic, is artificial intelligence, AI.
Right. AI is everywhere now. How does it apply here?
Well, think about what a digital product often is. It's information, structured to solve a problem, right? A course, a guide, a template.
Sure. Step-by-step solutions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
AI is incredibly good at synthesizing information and structuring it. It can generate outlines, draft scripts, pull together resources, basically do a huge chunk of the content creation heavy lifting.
So it speeds things up dramatically.
And not just speeds up, it fundamentally changes the input required. What used to take months of deep expertise in writing can now be outlined or even drafted in like hours or minutes. It sort of democratizes the creation part.
Huh. So that expertise barrier we talked about, AI helps lower it significantly.
Passively, that's the argument.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need to be the world expert anymore. You need to know how to leverage AI to structure and present valuable information.
Okay, that's huge. What's the second driver?
Accessible digital product platforms. Think of them as all-in-one shops for creators.
How do they work?
They handle everything: hosting your course videos or downloads, managing members or communities, processing payments securely, all the tech stuff that used to require custom builds or patching together lots of different extensive tools.
Ah, so no more needing to be a tech wizard or hiring developers just to get started?
Pretty much. These platforms are designed to be user-friendly. It's like getting an instant business infrastructure, ready to go. Takes away those technical and financial hurdles related to the platform itself.
Okay, so AI tackles the content creation barrier, and these platforms tackle the tech and distribution barrier.
You got it. And when you put those two together, AI and accessible platforms, it's transformative. The sources are pretty clear on this. They say these developments have, and I'm quoting loosely here, eliminated virtually all previous barriers to entry.
Wow, eliminated all previous barriers. That's a strong statement.
It is, but it points to how the game has changed, making the digital product market, as they put it, genuinely open to everyone in 2025.
It makes sense when you lay it out like that. The deep expertise, the massive time sink, the complex tech, the high costs, those major roadblocks seem much, much smaller now.
Right. And to really see why this matters for someone maybe thinking about online income, especially starting out, we should look at it through a framework the sources mention: 5 key metrics for evaluating business models.
Okay, yeah, a way to sort of score different opportunities. What are the metrics?
They look at initial investment needed, profit margins you can expect, ease of getting your first customer, the ongoing effort required, and crucially, the overall market opportunity.
Got it. Investment, margins, first customer, effort, market size. Makes sense. So how does this digital products 2.0 stack up? Let's start with initial investment.
This is a big win for digital products because it's digital, right? No physical goods. So no manufacturing, no inventory, no shipping. The sources say it's basically the lowest initial cost of any scalable online model.
Okay. Low barrier to entry financially. That's attractive. What about profit margins?
Extremely high. Often, especially when you start, you're looking at 90% plus. Think about it. Once it's created, the cost to deliver it to another customer is tiny.
90% plus. Okay, that's definitely eye-catching compared to, say, selling physical stuff or even some services. What about getting that first customer? Is it easier now?
The argument is yes, significantly. Those platforms we mentioned often have built-in audiences or marketplaces, and AI can help with identifying your ideal customer and how to reach them. The sources mention people getting their first sale within days. That was almost unheard of before.
Days. Wow, that must be incredibly validating when you're starting out. Okay, what about effort? Ongoing effort.
This is another key point. Once the product is created, and remember, AI helps shorten that part, the day-to-day effort can be minimal. You create it once, and you can sell it over and over.
Right, unlike a service where you're constantly doing the work for each client.
Exactly. It detaches your income from the hours you actively work, which ties back to that time freedom goal. AI does the upfront lift. Platforms automate the delivery.
Okay, low investment, high margins, faster first customer, low ongoing effort. Sounds pretty good. What about the last one? Market opportunity. Is the market actually big enough? Is there really a boom?
The numbers are pretty compelling here. The market's currently valued around $325 billion.
Okay, already huge.
But the projections, they estimate it'll grow to $840 billion by 2030.
Wow, $840 billion. What is that? More than double.
Yeah, about a 156% increase in roughly 5 years.
Yeah.
It's massive growth. That's why the sources call it a blue ocean opportunity.
Blue ocean, meaning lots of potential, not too crowded yet.
Exactly. Significant untapped potential. Relatively less competition right now compared to where it's heading.
Okay, those numbers definitely support the boom idea. A market more than doubling.
And this is crucial. This leads directly to the element of timing. The sources really stress this. Now is the moment.
Why the urgency? If it's growing so fast, won't the opportunity still be there in a year or two?
Maybe. But the sources use an interesting parallel. Think about marketing agencies. Maybe around 2017 to 2020, that was a kind of golden transition period. The tools got easier, the demand was high, and the early players who jumped in then saw incredible success relatively easily. But what happened next?
It got crowded, more competition, harder to stand out.
Exactly. As markets get easier to enter, they inevitably get more saturated. Competition ramps up.
Makes sense.
And the sources have a stark warning here, something like, as markets become more accessible, they eventually become saturated. Early entrants continue winning, while latecomers fight for the crumbs. Those who are early get to reap the biggest rewards.
Fight for the crumbs. Ouch, that's pretty blunt.
It is, but it highlights the point. This convergence of easier creation with AI, accessible platforms, and a booming market, it's created a unique window.
A window that won't stay open forever in the same way.
That seems to be the core message. The opportunity is here, it's significant, but the biggest advantages go to those who act during this transition phase. So the question they pose, really, is direct. Are you going to wait until it's saturated and fight for those crumbs? Or are you going to step in now and claim a slice while it's still a blue ocean?
It really does seem to boil down to that choice, doesn't it? This whole deep dive, it feels like we've uncovered that this billion digital product boom isn't just hype. It's grounded in real tech changes, AI, platforms, and fueled by a genuinely massive growing market. And that timing piece feels absolutely critical, especially for anyone really serious about hitting those goals: financial, location, time freedom.
Absolutely. It's the convergence. The tech is ready, the market is booming, the accessibility is unprecedented. It lines up perfectly with those fundamental desires for freedom we talked about at the start.
So as you're listening, thinking about your own goals, maybe for more independence, flexibility, control, what we've laid out today points to a potential path, a very current path.
And like any path, that first step is often the key.
So maybe a final thought to leave you with, something to mull over.
Yeah, consider this. What would it actually mean to look back, say, 3 years from now, and know you saw this moment coming, that you recognized this shift and actually did something about it?
What would it feel like to have been on the, quote, right side of history for this particular shift?
That's a powerful question.
It really is. And it brings us back to that simple but potent line from the sources: if nothing changes, nothing changes.
The path seems open. The opportunity is there.
The choice, as always, is yours.